Hello, Way Global and the ladies of the world. Thank you for having us Africans here on this global stage. And with me is a dear friend of Way South Africa and Way Africa, Celina Lee, who's the CEO of Zindi, the first data science competition platform of its kind in Africa. Celina is passionate about unleashing the power of data for social good and building the data science ecosystem in Africa. She has a proven track record of thought leadership in the intersect between data and development and has played central roles in launching global initiatives to that effect, including the Alliance for Financial Inclusion, Insight to Impact, and now Zindi. Celina's work has bridged across the private and public sectors and across development areas, including financial inclusion, micro and small enterprise development, gender, climate change, and public health. Celina holds a Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics with a minor in Computer Science and a Master of International Affairs, both from Columbia University in New York. She is from the United States, but has lived and worked in Asia, Latin America, and we are so glad to have her now here in Africa. I am Natalie, the Women in AI South Africa ambassador, and over to you, Celina.
Thank you so much, Natalie. It's so amazing to be here. Thank you. Sure, so I'm going to share a few words about Zindi. I'm Celina, and I'm the CEO of Zindi. As Natalie said, Zindi is a data science competition platform. We have African roots, but we actually have global reach. Our community of 18,000 data scientists are using machine learning and AI to solve some of the world's most pressing problems. And as a company, we're really driven by the belief that AI should be for everyone. But something I wanted to highlight is that we found something in our own data. Only 21% of our own data scientists are women. And while data and AI is one of the fastest growing fields in the world today, only 26% of the data scientists in the world are women, and only 12% of machine learning researchers are women. So this begs the question. We know from the Sustainable Development Goals that the world's leaders have committed to creating 470 million new jobs by 2030. But how do we ensure that those opportunities are shared equally? And even more importantly, how can we ensure that the world doesn't miss out on opportunities of tapping into talent and skills that are there? So this is Miriam. She's one of our data scientists on Zindi. Miriam is in Nigeria, and when I talked to her, she described her journey to data science as a divine calling. She's very passionate. She has a degree in petroleum engineering. She was one of 2 women in her graduating class. And while she worked for a few years as a petrophysicist, she actually ended up taking time off to raise her kids. And when I was speaking with her, she was describing that it's actually quite a struggle to get back into the workplace, which I think some of the women out there can also relate to. But what was exciting is that last year she discovered Zindi, and she started to train herself and learn Python, R, and already she's a force to be reckoned with on Zindi. On Zindi, she's built an algorithm to predict flooding in southern Malawi. She's helped build an AI chatbot for mental health in Kenya. She even came in 4th place in a challenge to help conservationists predict the number of sea turtles that would be rescued in each site on each week. So Miriam is really like this amazing example of how one person can reignite their career. They can get up to speed and get back into the room, take their place in that room. And most importantly, it's amazing how when you bring these people into the room, they can really cause this positive ripple effect around the globe even. So we need more people like Miriam. We need to ensure that we create more space for people like Miriam. So 2 years ago, my co-founders and I launched Zindi. We are based in South Africa. We're a tech startup, but we're also a social enterprise because at the heart of our work, our mission is to build the data science ecosystem in Africa. We've created a space where Data scientists can come to Zindi to hone their skills on real life problems and real life data sets. They can create their or build up their professional portfolio, and they can start to make connections in the market with each other and as well as with potential employers. And companies can come to Zindi because when they're looking for data science solutions and skills that are specific to their needs. So there's three key ways in which we're supporting the data science ecosystem, and specifically our data scientists, through global challenges, through skills and mentorship, and through employment and jobs. So I wanted to give a few examples of how these things are working. At the heart of our work is our competitions. The way the competitions work is that we partner with organizations in Africa. They can be, or actually globally as well. They can be companies, startups, corporates. They can be government organizations, nonprofit organizations. Really any organization that has data and has some type of problem or opportunity that they can tap into using machine learning. We partner with them to define a very specific machine learning task that they would like to do. We help them prepare a data set and define a data set that we can then package and put onto our platform as a challenge to our community. We open these challenges up to the 18,000 data scientists on the platform who then compete to build machine learning models and AI models on the data. Our platform automatically assesses the accuracy of the solutions as they get submitted, and all of our users get placed then onto a live leaderboard. And at the end of the competition, the top 3 data scientists take home prizes, and the organization gets the IP from the top 3 solutions. So one of the challenges that we did recently was with the South African National Roads Authority. Every year in South Africa, there's over 1 million accidents reported to SANRAL. And South Africa has one of the highest road fatality rates in the entire world. So when we spoke to SANRAL, we realized that they were collecting data from everything from every accident as it occurred, when it was reported, when the first responders arrived, when the accident was cleared. They have all of this data. So this is really like a treasure trove, because what they expressed to me is that what's most important is that gap between the time the accident happens and when the first responders arrive. And every second is a difference between life and death. So what they wanted to do was narrow that gap. And what we worked with them on is developing an algorithm, developing a machine learning solution using the data trained on the data that they have to predict down to the hour and down to the 500-meter segment where the next accident would happen. Essentially a heat map of the entire city of Cape Town of where the next accident would happen. This competition ran in partnership with Uber as well. And the winning data scientist was actually a researcher from Stellenbosch University, which is a local university, and not too far from the SANRAL office. So we actually were able to provide this type of algorithm to SANRAL. They now can use this in deciding where to position their first responders across the city, and they actually even invited the winner of this competition to present his solution at the offices in SANRAL and to the people who are in charge of dispatching first responders.
Celina, what would you say was your challenge in acquiring the buy-in from both SANRAL, who's our local government institution, as well as getting the data so that you could provide the outputs necessary?
So the interesting thing is that this data is actually available. Like the team that we were working with in SANRAL was in charge of innovation, and they actually have this application form where you or anybody can actually fill out the application form to get access to the data. So it was very interesting. It just shows that one of the things that we're really interested in Zindi is that the data exists. Some people want to say that Africa doesn't have data, but the data exists. Mm-hmm. It's just not in the hands of the people who can really make the most of it yet.
Yeah. And to cement Zindi in Africa, you started out in South Africa and now ventured out into the rest of Africa. How was that, and what was your takeaways, and what is your proudest moments?
Yeah, so we've actually we have users in at least 45 countries out of the 54 countries in Africa. Our biggest markets are actually now Nigeria, Kenya, Tunisia even. And I mean, I think something that has struck me is that there's a certain commonality, there's a certain understanding and certain challenges or patterns and challenges that people face across the different countries, but at the same time, each country has its own unique context and opportunities. But it's been very inspiring to see the young talent that each of these countries is producing.
It's actually phenomenal. We have a question here, Celina, from Gabriella.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. Please forgive me if I'm not. Is Zindi just for data scientists from Africa?
No, it's actually not. I wanted to, let me flip through to one of my later slides. I can tell the other stories later, but this is a bit of a snapshot of where we are. You can see that actually we're at 76% users in Africa. So the rest of the users come from all over the world. If you look at our Google Analytics, almost every single country is lit up. But we have users, of course, in Europe, the United States, but other areas that are getting very popular now is India, South Asia, and then even Latin America, South America is starting to take notice. So it's actually a global community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, maybe please just reiterate the percentage of females on your platform and contributing to the social good.
Yeah, so we have 21% females, which is okay. I think we obviously want to do better, but it's not bad considering there's another statistic that came out recently that 18% of data scientists in the United States are female. So 21% in relative terms is not bad, but we really want to aspire to do even better. I think that, some of the things that we are doing, we are, aside from competitions, we're starting to really develop the tutorials and the mentorship. We're also starting to develop the recruitment function, recruitment services, essentially, connecting our users with job opportunities. And what we would like to do is create more of a space for more women to have a safe space within the context of those services. So, what we've done is some of our competitions have earmarked prizes for the top women. And the feedback has been that it's really nice because it creates a safe space and it helps women build up their confidence. And same with the mentorship. We recently did a mentorship program, and we were conscious to make sure that half of the mentees were women and and the other half were men. And what I'd like to do is another round where we explicitly have more female mentors as well, so that we can match, the juniors and the senior women on our platform.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I know you close to what we do as Women in AI South Africa, driving the education for rural communities. And that's where we met at Stellenbosch University, where you were driving and supporting us in growing that community in AI data scientists. We love what you do. Gabriella asked, do you partner with other organizations that promote data science around the world? And if so, which ones?
So in each of the countries, part of the reason why I feel that we've been able to reach 18,000 data scientists relatively quickly is because we really reach out to the different communities that are forming in each of the countries. So, in Kenya, there's AI Kenya. In Ghana, there's AI Ghana, Data Science Nigeria, even, Our Ladies Cape Town. There's just so many communities that are out there. Now, I think Women in AI is a tremendous opportunity for partnerships for us because it's a global community and we actually don't have many partnerships of that nature. And I think that the only way that we're really going to create space for more women on the platform and create inclusion in the AI, in the global field is through partnerships like these. So,
and if you look at the South African drive to incorporate women in AI from a corporate onboarding perspective, I think it's positioning Zindi quite well to mentor, to engage with women in AI, so that you can pass them on into the corporate space.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the points that I wanted to make is that as a business, inclusion and creating space for traditionally underrepresented segments of the population is not just an afterthought for us as a business. It's not just a nice to have as a business. It's actually core to our business. It's actually our unique selling proposition. And it's the reason why we do get approached by companies like Google and Microsoft, because they are looking for that talent. They're looking for a way to connect with that talent.
Most definitely. Just Yasemin from Algeria asks, can Algeria get involved, and how can you guys collaborate to get opportunities for Algerian data scientists?
Oh yeah, Algeria is actually we've done a number of we did a hackathon in Algeria recently for the university students. We have ambassadors in Algeria. We have a network of Zindi ambassadors across 22 different countries, and we do have an ambassador in Algeria, but we're always open to others. And let me just put up our email address here. We have opportunities if you're interested in just joining Zindi, to be a mentor, to be an ambassador. We're very open to partnerships in Algeria. It's actually one of the bigger countries for us.
Oh, thank you, Celina. I don't want to take away from your presentation, so I'm going to leave you to it for the next 4 minutes, and then we'll take additional questions.
Okay, sure. Feel free to jump in anytime. I just have 2 other examples of ways that we're working. So the second thing that I wanted to bring up was the skills in the mentorship. And I wanted to introduce you. I mentioned that ambassadors. David in Tanzania is one of our ambassadors. And he once told me the story of how he was actually mentored by someone who really taught him everything that he knew and brought him into this space. And so he really is on a mission himself now as a data scientist to teach other Tanzanians and other Africans everything that he knows. He's constantly going out to the universities and speaking to students. He holds a number of workshops. On Zindi, he's constantly contributing tutorials. And yeah, he's very active, and he even takes some of the younger data scientists on the platform under his wing. So recently, one of the things that he did was he developed a data set, a Swahili data set, by scraping news sites in Tanzania. And he created this data set, and during this time of COVID, during lockdown, he asked Zindi to help him host this as a virtual hackathon for Tanzanians. So we hosted this hackathon on the platform. He ran this as a way to raise, I guess, to help people upskill in natural language processing using Swahili. So that was pretty amazing.
That's quite incredible. Anubhav, please forgive me if I get the names wrong. They ask, what would you suggest is, how do we increase involvement for a population that is less educated on the application, and more so less educated in AI, or the importance of AI?
So how would we start involving people who maybe don't have higher levels of education?
Yes, or just get involved with the application. Zindi,
sure. Yeah, so it is, Zindi, we realize that Zindi, what we have right now is not very formal in terms of upskilling. It's definitely a place that is filling a need and a gap in terms of allowing people to get their hands on real data sets that come from the industry, that come from the real world, and try to solve these things. We find that a lot of people are self-taught in data science, so I wouldn't feel discouraged. I think one of the earlier panelists was saying that, I mean, you can come from any field and really find your way to data science, but it takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of dedication to access the types of online courses and trainings that are available. Zindi is one, but it's one piece of the puzzle. So a lot of the people that are on our platform that maybe don't have a degree related, in computer science or related to data science, a lot of them have these nano degrees or these kind of certificates that you can get through Coursera, Udemy. These are the things that I see a lot on the CVs of our users. So there's definitely a lot of like free or free-ish online resources for upskilling. And I think that what we do plan to do is create more of a beginner path on Zindi. So there's definitely some competitions that are beginner level, and we have tutorials linked to them, but I know that when you join the platforms, it's not always clear where to go for that, but we'll make that clearer. And you can also feel free to message us, also post on the discussion forum to ask for some guidance. Davis himself actually wrote a really great blog that's on our platform on how to get started. Like, what are the easiest competitions? He gives them and some tutorials. So,
but Zindi has partnered with some phenomenal communities within South Africa and Africa. I mean, you mentioned Our Ladies, it's Women in AI, and there's a host of these communities. And the drive behind these communities is really just to create educated AIs, whether you have a degree or not, as well as just to infiltrate the rural areas of Africa so that we circumvent the data and we change the data sets coming in. So to answer you, Anubhav, Zindi has partnered with some communities who drive education within Africa and South Africa.
Yeah, exactly. I think, Data Science Nigeria, for example, is on a mission to upskill 1 million data scientists. I mean, and they're, so I think that Zindi plus partnerships is what's going to, make this a reality. Zindi is one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. We have a few more minutes. I think we can go for 3 more minutes and 2 more minutes and then we will wrap it up, Celina.
Okay, so I'll just highlight the jobs area. We recently launched our recruitment, but it was really inspired by this experience that we had where GSMA, the tech lead for the AI for Impact project at GSMA, reached out to us because he was looking for a data scientist in DRC, in Kinshasa. And he had a whole list of criteria, but he didn't even know where to start. And we were able to reach out to all of our data scientists in DRC. We, screened their profiles, and we actually were able to place Jeff in the role for GSMA. And it was just a really great story because Jeff was actually highly qualified. He ticked all of the boxes, and he found himself in Kinshasa because he was getting ready to start his PhD program in Canada when COVID started and lockdown. And so he actually had to put off pursuing his degree. And so he was in Kinshasa looking for an opportunity just like this one. So this was a really fantastic success story, and it made us realize what an opportunity we have to bring together the companies and organizations and the skills that are on Zindi.
And what's interesting to note is that there's diversity, and because of diversity, you have been, or Zindi has been more accepted and welcomed in the African society and African market as an established AI business. I mean, there's tons of entrepreneurs running AI, small to medium sort of enterprises. And then you hear of them and then you don't. But Zindi has come and Zindi is staying. And I think it's because of the diversity. And secondly, you mentioned that it's AI for good at the end of the day. You're solving problems that Africa really needs solved. And, what is your most memorable solution? for Africa?
There's so many.
You have to choose one.
I mean, I think, well, there's one that we just finished that I'm so excited about, was in partnership with an organization in Uganda that has placed IoT sensors, air quality measuring IoT devices around the country to measure particle matter in the air. Basically, you know, at a certain level of particle matter, it's actually dangerous to breathe in, which is a problem in certain parts of Uganda because of the burning and such, and air pollution. So they want to create, their vision is that air quality forecasting is the same as weather forecasting. So they wanted to create an app that could basically tell you 3 days in advance, down to the hour, what is the air pollution level going to be, so that you can plan your day, so that you can anticipate what the issues will be. So we just finished that competition recently, and the winners of the competition got hired by the project to implement the solution. So they're well on their way to making this a reality already.
Yes, most definitely. So Zindi is giving the people of Africa experience, as well as changing the job statistics and having them being employed too.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. Gabriella asks, have you thought about getting involved with the UN on helping them out to reevaluate goals of the agenda using data science?
No, we haven't actually.
Okay.
If you have any contacts, you can introduce us. I think I'm really interested in that, actually. I mean, that's just a personal passion.
Okay. So most definitely, I think
the SDGs.
There have been some speakers during the course of today from the UN. I mean, we can definitely connect you.
Amazing.
Celina, just your last words and how, you know, what would you leave those that's listening to you with, and how do they just feel a little bit motivated in getting involved with AI?
Well, I mean, I think that there's just incredible opportunities. I think that, you know, inclusion is going to be the key for success in AI. You can't have AI without proper representation, you know, of the people who AI is going to affect. You have to be the builders as well as the consumers of AI products. So I think that for Zindi, like I said, it's the core of our business to create space for everyone in AI. And we're only going to be able to do that through partnerships. And I would encourage all of you, if you're interested in partnering in some way, in being a mentor, in hosting a competition, in posting a job for someone on the community, please do reach out. We're so excited to connect with all of you.
Thank you, Celina. And Yasemin from Algeria says they have air pollution issues that needs to be solved. So I guess here you go. Thank you for being, you know, a phenomenal Women in AI South Africa supporter, and now globally. We appreciate you and we enjoy what you do. From here in South Africa and Africa, thank you again for this world stage. Please be in contact with either Celina or myself. Twitter at Robots Can Think, and at Zindi on Twitter. Looking forward to hearing from you all. Celina, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.